Joining me today is Gabrielle Preston Banks. Gabrielle, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me, Simon.
No, really, real pleasure to talk to you. And obviously, I've met you throughout the lockdown period over Zoom meetings and things. And yeah, it's great to understand today a little bit more about what you actually get up to and what you do. So, do you want to give us a bit of a background to what you actually do?
Yeah, and so before I do that, can I just say it's great to be chatting to you, making this recording. And I just want people to get some useful nuggets out of this. I just want to let people know where I'm coming from. And my intention for everyone always is to come from a place of compassion and love. And at the moment, particularly positivity, just because of everything that's going on. So I just wanted to let you know that. And on that note, I've got a little gift for anyone that wants to send me an email. And I'm sure my details will be in the post of the podcast. I'm sure you'll pop them there, Simon. Yeah. So the details will be there. And also, if anybody wants to connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn, and they can direct message me, and I'll send that little gift over to them. It's just a little pack with affirmations in it that they can use. So now I'll tell you a bit about my what I do. So I'm a rapid transformational therapist, and that's RTT for short. But I've combined that with other modalities that I've trained to do also. And I've come up with this fusion of therapy that helps people really quickly. And I help people with limiting beliefs. I help people with anxiety, depression, traumas, relationship issues. And the way that I work is it doesn't matter what anybody comes to me for, and it might be addictions as well that comes from these different problems. It doesn't matter whether it's somebody's come to me for drinking, smoking, they've got really bad anxiety, they might just have blocks and they're not really sure what's going on, but there's always a root cause. And the therapy that I do gets to that root cause. And when you get to that root cause, you can get rid of all these symptoms, because everything else is just a symptom. So yeah. I work with releasing those trapped feelings, getting to that root cause, and then the best bit, I give an amazing transformation process, and that's what makes it permanent. So that's like a little brief of what I do.
Yeah, fantastic. And you mentioned about the rapid transformational therapy, the RTT. Is that what it's called?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Fantastic. Do you want to tell us how it works and how the coaching works?
Yeah. So if you come to me, it just works quicker than other therapists. So rather than going to therapy for 6 months or a year, it works so much quicker. And I use a combination of NLP, CBT, psychotherapy, and hypnotherapy, and all that combined, and the coaching creates a very powerful way of getting to the root cause and freeing people of their issues. And it works over a 2 to 3 month period, as opposed to going to therapy for months and months or taking tablets. And it's just amazing how it works. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm aware of NLP, but you mentioned, what was the second one you mentioned?
So CBT, and that's cognitive behavioral therapy, and hypnotherapy as well. And so I do a lot of work on the subconscious mind.
Oh, fantastic.
When you work with the subconscious mind, it becomes really powerful, and you can do a lot more deeper work. So
yeah, I've become a bit fascinated by all this sort of mind stuff over the years, really, because obviously the subconscious is where it all sort of stems from, isn't it? And it's very powerful, and I don't think people realise the power that's in their subconscious minds, do they?
Absolutely. And I'm really passionate about helping people that are stuck with different issues and just breaking free of them, because I've been there myself. And sometimes when we're in that space, we think that nothing's going to work, and it's you go out there, you try different ways, you go for coaching, you might go for therapy, you go for different things, and often there just isn't the time to you don't want to be spending years trying to repair yourself or trying to get rid of these issues. And this is just a really quick way. And I love studying how the mind works. And, you know, none of this is woo-wah, it's actual science that I work with. So we're actually changing the brain waves and making it permanent. So it's a great method.
Yeah, great. And talking about the mind, I mean, do you have any mind hacks that would be useful to people listening and watching today?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd love to share one of my favorite mind hacks with you. And before I do that, it's just so important that we master our mind and we don't let it rule us, because you know we're not, as kids, we're not brought up with that concept. You know, we just get on with our day. We don't get taught to learn how to rule the mind, and I wish this was put into schools. But one rule of the mind is the mind works with the pictures you make and the words you tell it. So if we tell it good stuff, we'll have an amazing life, we'll have amazing days. So let me give you, for instance, and this is something I do with all my clients. So you might wake up in the morning and the first thing you say to yourself, oh, I feel rubbish, I feel dreadful, I don't like the way I look. You look in the mirror, you say, I hate my hair, I hate my body, I hate my job, and you say all these bad things to yourself. Well, by doing that, you're going to end up with a bad day and a bad life. And if you wake up, and what I get all my clients to do is have themselves some affirmations next to their bed, some statements. And the first thing they do in the morning, they don't look at their phone, they don't listen to the news, they spend 10, 20 minutes on filling their mind with good stuff. So it might be that they're reading something to fill their mind with good stuff. They might be listening to a podcast. They might be reading their statements. I get everyone to do a grateful diary. They might be reading their grateful, they do their grateful diary at night. They read it in the morning. And this is all a great tip, because if you do this and make it a habit, it just becomes the norm, and you don't even have to think about it, because you jump out of bed and you think, I'm going to have a great day, my life's great. And you know, you're telling the truth, because you can easily say good things to yourself just the same as you can say bad things, but your mind will always take that on. So it's such a powerful mind hack. And I'd like to just talk about one other, because I think it's a great thing for people to understand their money mindset. So another rule of the mind is the mind likes what's familiar, and I'm just going to relate that to the money mindset at the moment. And you see, I work with many businesses, and it's such a useful tool to understand how the mind works in relation to money. And as we grow up, we hear a lot of negative things said to us about money. A lot of us do. And I bet you can relate to that. Most people can think of some kind of sentence. Can you think of something that you might have had said to you around money as you were growing up? Can you think of anything?
Yeah, definitely. I'd tell you the one thing that resonates with me is money is a greedy man's food, is what I've heard on many occasions. And it sort of it sticks with you sometimes.
Absolutely, that's a good one. Well, it actually makes blueprints in your mind, and these create your limiting beliefs, and they can hold you back, and particularly in business. Another thing that I wish was taught at school, because we'd all have better money mindsets. So, you know, we might have heard things like, you've got to work long hours to earn money, money's hard to get, money doesn't grow on trees, you don't deserve money, you'll never have lots of money. So we're all brought up, you know, it may not be our parents, it might be our grandparents, it might be school teachers, it could be, we're just brought up with all these imprints in our minds, and we're taking on these thoughts and beliefs that don't even belong to us, because they're other people's thoughts and beliefs. They're not even ours, but they've become blueprints in our minds. So what we need to do is make these blueprints unfamiliar. And the good news is you absolutely can. And I do workshops around this with individuals, with businesses, and it's quite a big subject. And it's another reason why, you know, somebody wins the lottery and you read about them, a lot of them end up broke, because they haven't got the money mindset. You know, the same thing as the guy that says, I've won the lottery, but it's not going to change my life. I'm not going to do anything differently, because they haven't got the mindset to think, I want to use this money differently. So the mind really likes what's familiar. So what we've got to do in this instance is make all these statements unfamiliar and make the good ones familiar. So, you know, like I said, I do workshops around this, but for now, I can give you a few tips how we can change these blueprints. And it's, again, the words that you say to yourself. So we can create better thoughts around money. So you can say things like, money comes to me. I love money. I like to share money. It's safe for me to have money. Money's my friend. I can give more when I have more money, and I'm worthy of money. All these statements are amazing, and it really works. And we need to change that blueprint. And I just think it's quite an important one. And particularly at the moment, everyone's focusing on money, what they have got. So I think it's a great thing to be thinking about. And it's all about filling our mind with better words, because when we learn to talk to our mind in a better way, we can have such better lives.
Yeah, it's very interesting what you say there, because money doesn't grow on trees is certainly one from my parents. I can certainly visualize that, and memorize that one now from being a young person. And it's funny how people disconnect with money as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it just holds us back so much to hang on to all these thoughts and these beliefs that were not even ours in the first place. They're somebody else's, and they've installed them in us. And all we've got to do is flip them around, change them, and you actually will have new blueprints in your mind, and a different way of living.
Yeah, but very, very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how where we find ourselves today. We're in the middle of this pandemic. There's people struggling out now, or out there, should I say? Right now. Is there any sort of other specific advice you could really give to people who are kind of struggling at the moment with what's going on out there?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the talking about the pandemic and how all the bad stuff that's going on, I think we're all a bit drained by it. Do you not think? Do you feel the same? I just think it's all a bit much at the moment, and yeah, everybody's a bit drained. So I think what I'm saying to my clients is we need to have a detox on quite a few things, but particularly the news, because there's just too much of it, and too much, it's sending us into fight and flight and freeze, because there's fight, flight, and freeze. And years ago, we needed that. If we were faced with a lion, we needed to go into fight, flight, and freeze. But at the moment, we don't. And when we're listening to the news, even though this is not great what's happening, we need to take care. But it's making us freeze. We're not getting on with our businesses. We're not getting on with our lives. We're going into freeze. We're not allowing ourselves to have happy times. And it's just too much to listen to all of that the whole time. So I'm saying detox from the news. Limit how much news you listen to, you watch, you have alerts on your phone, limit it. Tell yourself different words, because when you say things like, this is a nightmare, this is awful, this is a dreadful. So let me give you, for instance, on that one, because, things go wrong sometimes. We might drop our phone, we smash our phone, and we say, oh, that's a nightmare. But it's not a nightmare. If you say it's a nightmare, you're telling your mind it's a nightmare. Your mind has to react. It has to go into fight or flight. If you say, well, I've dropped my phone, I can get it fixed, I can manage that, your mind's not being told to go into fight or flight. It's the same as, you're homeschooling with your children and you're saying, oh, I've had a nightmare, the kids are being a nightmare. And if you say to yourself, my kids are being age appropriate, and I can cope with this, I can make some plans, I can deal with it, then you're going to cope with it better. I'm not underestimating how difficult it is to homeschool and have all that, but it's just what you say to yourself will help you how you deal with it. So tell yourself different words. Set yourself up with a schedule. It's going to help you so much, particularly putting in that daily walk and exercise. say to yourself, I'm allowing myself to be happy now, because I think a lot of people have gone into freeze again after this last lockdown, and they're not allowing themselves to live, allowing themselves to be happy. And I think that's really important. Just say to yourself, I know there's bad things going on out there, but I can be happy now. Say things like, I'm safe at home, not I'm stuck at home, I'm safe at home. My family is safe at home. I'm doing the best I can in this time, and I'm allowed to have some fun and some happy times. And one other thing that's really powerful, if we help others, it actually helps us, because there's an actual science behind that. When we do acts to help others, it helps our brain waves, it helps our brain patterns, and there's a real science behind it. So, all of that, everything else, but helping others is such a powerful tool to help ourselves.
Yeah, definitely, and a big believer in that. What you just said there about helping people, what you put out there, comes back as well. But in answer to your question a minute ago, what have I done? Yes, I mean, turning off the news alerts in the early part of the pandemic. The phone going off all the time with updates of this has happened and this has happened. It was just driving me bonkers. So got rid of it. And even now, if I really need to sort of really get away from what's going on in the world, put the headphones on, put some music on, and go into my own world. And that's what's worked for me, as well as bought an exercise bike recently, so exercising on the exercise bike recently. So I know I'm getting exercise and getting fitter, but also just get rid of all the worries and things that we all face during this time. So I think you're absolutely right. Just get rid of the negativity and don't listen to the news, and focus on positives.
Absolutely. And if I could give anybody a gift from this talk today, it's learning to speak to your mind with different words. Learn to speak to your mind in a better way. Be your own cheerleader, and just say great things to yourself. And it's not crazy to walk around and talk to yourself. It's actually really good for you. And we all need to learn to talk to ourselves in a better way. And
Yeah,
we can have a so much better life by doing that.
I love that. Be your own cheerleader. I love that. That's great. That really is. I've actually got a book which I've just a notepad which I've been collecting. Sort of all quotes that I've been hearing from people during this period. Let the bass line play and go and create the melody, and we're all in the same storm but in different boats, sort of thing. And I'm gonna add that one to the front of my book, and I'm gonna credit you for it as well, because I absolutely love that one. Be your own cheerleader. I love that.
Yeah.
Now,
absolutely, because we find it really easy to beat up on ourselves and say bad things to ourselves. Well, it's just as easy to be your own cheerleader as it is to do that, and you're going to get a lot more from it. So,
yeah, love that one. Absolutely love that one. Now, you don't only work with women as well, or with women. You work with men as well, don't you? And obviously, men, we're not very good at coming forward sometimes with our own challenges and mental health problems and everything. And what would you say to any sort of men that are listening that maybe need a little bit of help or support at the moment?
Oh yeah, I feel absolutely really strongly about this one, because I've got 2 adult boys myself, and I understand that men are suffering right now, and there's a higher percentage of men with in the suicidal rates out there. There's a high percentage of men really struggling and not reaching out for help. There's a lot of people do what I do and they don't treat men. And I really want to help men, because I feel really strongly that they're not helped enough. And there is no stigma in reaching out, getting help. I help a lot of men, and this therapy is quick, it works. I do it all over Zoom, so you don't have to leave your home. You can feel safe, you can feel secure, you haven't got to go anywhere where you're being seen. And I just wish more men would reach out and not suffer in silence, because I think it's really strong, so that you can be there for the rest of you, everybody else around you as well, because I know there's a lot expected of you as a man, but there's no stigma in it. It's really, really important to reach out if you're struggling. There is help. There is people that can help.
I think it's a historical thing. I think the men are getting more open in talking about problems and their challenges. But obviously that used to be, I don't know, down the pub or something like that, where they felt safe in talking about their challenges. But obviously now the pubs are shut during obviously the pandemic. It's quite a challenging situation, I think, for men to still come forward and actually speak. So it's interesting that you could do it maybe during this time virtually, I'd imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I do all my therapy over Zoom, and I always have done even before this. So I do everything over Zoom. And another thing, it's the same thing. If you think about the things that have been said to men, like man up, keep your feelings in, don't show your feelings, men don't cry. It's all rubbish, really, because men, we're all the same. We're all people, and pain and suffering comes from keeping those feelings trapped away. So all the people I see have got feelings trapped away inside of them. It's like having a little box, and that little box is hiding something. And even if the guy doesn't know what it is that he's struggling with, but he's struggling, and it's the same with women, there is something trapped away in that little box. And because of my method of therapy being able to get to the subconscious, we can get to what's inside of there. We only need to look at it once. We don't have to talk about it over and over again for weeks and weeks. We look at it once, we free you of it. I could give you a little example if you like, that might help. So I've helped a guy a couple of months ago. He came to me with extreme anxiety. He's got his own business. It was affecting his business. He was saying to me, I think I just need to, got quite a few people working for him, but he said, I think I just need to close it down. I can't even do my job that I do. I can't run the men. I can't do any of it. And it was affecting his marriage. It was affecting, he said, I think my children hate me, which was awful to hear. And he just wanted to end it all, to be quite honest. And he came to me and said, I've heard about what you do. I don't know if you can help me. I'd like it if you could. I'm going to give it a go. Worked with him for 2 months. He's now growing his business. He's doing amazing. He's got a great relationship with his children, his wife. His life has just turned around. Had another one a couple of months before that early lockdown, and they've been unfortunately taking drugs for many years. Also got their own business in his 40s, and just lonely and unhappy in life, and got a few things from his childhood that didn't even know was covering up with the drugs. But drugs is often, and drugs, alcohol, all of that is often down to connection. And I can absolutely help everyone. And that's just the message that I want to get out there. But I can also do it quickly. So you haven't got to take years and not even months, only 3, to work with me and get and free yourself so that you can have an amazing life.
Yeah, fantastic. And having got to know you, during this period of all the Zoom calls that we find ourselves on, I know you're really passionate about what you do and what you do for people. Where does it all come from?
Well, so going back, I had my own struggles. I've been through divorce, redundancy, different things that have affected my life. I've had PTSD, and I struggled to get help. I struggled to get the right help, and it was really difficult for me, and I went through a bad time. And then I came across this therapy, RTT, what I do, and it worked for me in 2 sessions over 2 months. It was amazing. It changed my life, and I'd been looking for something. I've been coaching for years, but I've been looking for something else. And I have a passion for coaching, teaching. I love helping people, and it's just like I found my purpose, and it's my life. I live, breathe, sleep, all of this. I just love it. Yeah, I love what I do. I love helping people. Yeah, it's my calling. So,
yeah, fantastic. And it always helps when you enjoy what you do as well. And as I said, I've got to know you during this period, and your energy and your passion for what you do comes over. And I think it's tremendous what you're doing for people. And you must get some real self not self-reward. I don't know what the word is, but you must job satisfaction, I suppose, is the word I would use. You may use something different, but when you see people change from where they were to becoming someone different from the work you've done with them.
Absolutely. I feel humbled every time somebody comes to me and say, you've changed my life. And that's what I hear so many days of the week. You've changed my life. My life's different. I feel amazing. I feel lifted. I feel lighter. All these things. I feel humbled, and I feel I just love it. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So, Gabrielle, thanks for joining us today. I've got to ask you, how can people get in contact with you if they want to learn more or even engage your services?
So I'm on social media. I'm on all the channels: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So you can connect with me. I'd love you to connect with my page and send me a little message. Always happy to jump on a 20-minute discovery call with anybody. I don't charge for that. That's absolutely free. And any advice, or if you've got any family member that you think needs some help, just give me a call. Happy to chat about it. And just to let you know, I can work with you on a one-to-one. I also work with groups. So if you're an organization, a group, a business, and you want to give your business a kickstart, or you want to work on money mindset, or imposter syndrome, or procrastination, or I'm currently working with a junior football team to get them to achieve their goals. So it isn't just, I do mental health issues, though I don't like the word mental health. I prefer to say it's our mind health, and we've all got things blocked. And I also do retreats, which I'm growing at the moment. So I think that's a really nice thing. So these are the different ways you can work with me. And also don't forget the little pamphlet that I've got for you with the daily affirmations if you message me directly. And I'm quite happy for anyone to text me. My phone number's on my website. So you can send me a text and we can arrange a call.
And your website, you've got GabriellePrestonBanks.com.
Yes.
Brilliant.
So the same as, that's how you find me on social media, GabriellePrestonBanks.com. And I'm sure you'll pop it in the blurb when you put the podcast out. And if I could just say, my heart goes out to each and every person right now, because I know there's a lot of struggling going on, and I just want to send out lots of love to everybody.
Yeah, well, it's been absolutely fascinating to talk to you. Thanks ever so much for your time and sharing what you get up to. And I've learned something from you just now as well. Just listening to your terminology about money, it was incredible actually to think about. We all have detachments and things in life, but just the way you use different words. And thank you for what you've done today just by listening to you. It's been really good.
Well, thank you, Simon, for giving me the opportunity to get the word out there, because the more people I can help, the more lives I can change. And that's all I want to do. I love doing it, and I just want to get the word out as much as possible.
Brilliant. Well, look after yourself and keep safe, keep smiling, and hopefully we'll get together one day in the flesh.
Well, I hope so. Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. It's great that you're helping businesses get their message out there. So